Good morning. Welcome back to yet another section of informatics. In our last class, we began the last topic, online education. We just go through the main points of online education. I think all of you remembered well what it is online education. It is a form of distance learning and it emphasizes the use of personal computers. Then we also went through the popular online education formats. First one is adult online education, then hybrid education, online continuing education, online distance education. Finally, we went through online higher education. After that, we also discussed the top 10 online universities in the world. Then we also identified the online education in India, the famous universities that offer online education in India. Then we spoke about the merits of online education. What are the main merits? First one is personalized education, then flexibility, accessibility, then enhanced technology. Definitely, we also understood online education has its own disadvantages. So, what are the disadvantages? The first one is self-discipline is required in online education. It may be advantage or disadvantage. It depends on the learners. The next one is technology involved. So the learner should be ready to accept the new technologies. Then next point is cost. Cost is high while we are making the comparison with the traditional courses. The next point, lack of interaction. Definitely that is the major problem we are facing relating online education, that it is lack of interaction. We can't make a comparison with the online education and also the traditional education in the case of lack of interaction. The next one is limited course offerings. So definitely if a learner is interested in a more unusual field, he or she may have difficulty finding a source for online education. The next one, inconsistent policies across different countries may prevent an online institution from earning accreditation. So accreditation is also a serious issue in the case of online education. Then next disadvantage, it is the decreased quality of course offering, and instruction is another major concern of online education. Then again we are repeating the same disadvantage, lack of interaction in the case of traditional face-to-face institution. Compared with the traditional face-to-face courses, online students interact less frequently with their educators and peers. Then what is the result? Their limited social contact is generally lower in quality. It is also a major disadvantage in the case of online education. Then experienced educators observe that some interactions which take place in the traditional classroom cannot be repeated in online education. Okay, then we are moving to the next topic, that it is virtual university. So all of you please take the page number 308. A virtual university is a university which carries out much of its teaching, perhaps all of it, at a distance from the learner. That is, virtual universities offer courses or programs online over internet. So it is a university. The university carries out much of its teaching, perhaps all of it at a distance from the owner or distance from the learner. That it is virtual universities offer courses or programs online over internet. Some of the virtual universities are real institutes, the bricks and mortar type that provide online learning as part of their extended university courses, while other provide courses only on time. So we can see that some virtual universities have their own real institutes, the bricks and mortar type institute, but at the same time they are extending the university courses while others provide courses only on time. The goal of virtual universities is to provide access to that part of the population who would not be able to attend a physical campus for reasons such as, what are the reasons? We can see here there are two reasons. One is distance, where the students live too far from a physical campus to attend regular classes. The next one is need for flexibility. Some students need the flexibility to study at home whenever it is convenient for them to do so. So actually there are two goals of virtual universities is to provide access to that part of their the population. We can see that there are two aims, one is distance and the next point is flexibility. Okay, then we can speak about the quality. Program delivery in a virtual university is administered through information communication technology such as web pages, email and other networked sources. Students taking so-called virtual courses are doing real work to get their degrees, and educators preparing and teaching those courses spend plenty of real time in going so. So definitely for these courses, the educators, they are preparing and teaching those courses by taking plenty of real time in doing so. That is, students meet rigorous academic learning outcomes and evaluations through programs constructed by credible academics according to standard university level criteria. So there is no compromise in the case of quality. When we are making the comparison with a virtual university and the other universities, definitely we can see that it is highly organized. Many virtual universities are accredited in the same way as traditional universities and operate according to the same academic standards. So when we are taking some virtual universities, we can see that they are following the same accreditation based on the traditional universities. These universities can grant degrees that will be recognized around the world. So it has such a virtual universities have the same quality, same appreciation relating around the world. Online programs can be marketed to any person who has an online access to provide learning experiences and training in open access format. Then we are going to speak about the convenience. So convenience of online learning attracts many working class adult students who need school to meet their schedules and demands of working, family and social lives. So actually the convenience, when we are taking the point convenience, it is a blessing for working class adult students because they can manage their work, their family and also their social lives without any distraction. Then we are going to speak about the higher education. So providing access to higher education for all students, especially adult learners, is made easier by the fact that most virtual universities have no entry requirements for their undergraduate courses. So about the higher education through virtual universities, in these virtual universities, they don't have no entry requirements for their undergraduate courses. Entry requirements are needed for the courses that are aimed at postgraduates or those who work in specific jobs. So I think it is easy for the people who are undergraduate, because there are no requirements for their undergraduates. Only they are focusing the requirements for the courses that are aimed at postgraduate or those who work in specific jobs. So these are the details about higher education. Okay, then the another point relating virtual universities different from studying in a brick and mortar university. So when we are speaking about the traditional and virtual universities, it is entirely different from a traditional universities. We can see that through virtual universities, a particular learner is studying, he will not get a chance to study in a brick and mortar university. There are no buildings and no campus to go to because students study on the internet. There is no doubt about it. Definitely, when you are studying through the virtual universities, definitely you should miss the campus. Then in most cases, only a personal computer and an internet connection is needed, because in the case of virtual universities, there is no need to arrange any physical atmosphere. We can only need the modern technology. We need a personal computer and an internet connection. Even it is possible to use a smartphone. If you are taking courses online, it means that you will be learning in your own time by reading course material, working on course activities, writing assignments, and perhaps working with other students through interactive teleconferences. In this paragraph, we are speaking about the methodology of study. Online learning can be an isolating experience since the student spends the majority of their time working by themselves. Some learners do not mind learning by themselves, but others find this a major stumbling block to successful completion of courses. Courses materials can include printed material, books, audio and video cassettes, TV programs, CD-ROM or software and websites. Support is offered to learners from the professor or a tutor online through emails if they are having problems with the course. So definitely through the virtual university, a particular learner is learning the things. He or she should be self disciplined, and he or she is making her own timetable. According to that, she can write assignments, work with other students, and interaction is also possible through the interactive teleconferences. Then here in these virtual universities, learners are spend the majority of their time working by themselves. At the same time, they can use the course materials including printed materials, books, audio, video cassettes, TV records, TV programs, CD-ROM, software, etc. And definitely they will get the support from their faculties through email and other modern technology. Okay, so this is about the methodology of studies or methods of the studies. Then next we are going to speak about how they are working. Okay, it is often difficult to maintain the scheduling needed to be successful when learning online. The That is why some virtual universities apply the same type of time management as traditional schools. So I told you, even when we talked about the online education in general, we already understood self-disciplined. It is at the same time it is a advantage and a disadvantage because it depends on the learner. But here some virtual universities they are following the same system how they are following in a traditional universities. Okay, so many courses operate to a timetable which the student receives with his or her course materials. These include the planned activities for each week of the course and the dates for the assignments. If the course has an exam, the students will be informed where they have to go to write it. So some virtual universities they are giving well planned timetable, so according to that they can arrange all the things. Then in that timetable they will give the planned activities for each week and the dates for the assignments and dates for the exam, etc. So I think it is good for all learners to maintain such a timetable. Okay, so through the timetable we can control, we can follow the self-discipline, I think. Then we are going to speak about the examples, the great examples of virtual universities. Here there are two very famous virtual universities. One is Virtual Global University, short form is VGU in Germany, underline that one. Then VGU, about VGU, VGU offers a graduate program, International Master of Business Informatics, a master program in information technology and management that takes 4 semesters to complete. Okay, for full-time students, it is only applicable for full-time students. Each course has a lecture on a virtual class meeting every week. Afterwards, students get a homework assignment. For example, they have to solve an exercise, elaborate on some problem, discuss a case study or take a test. Lecture give them immediate feedback and 1 week later the same happens again. Okay, so I think all of you got the idea about Virtual Global University. I'm sorry, here in this textbook only one only one virtual university is mentioned here, that it is Virtual Global University in Germany. We can see that the graduate program MBI, then also the master program in information technology and management. Okay, through that they can do the homework assignment and even they can solve an exercise, elaborate their problems, discuss a case study. All these things are, and the test paper, all these are happening in the according to their schedule. Okay, then there are a great many skills that students who decide to study through virtual universities need in order to be successful. Some of these includes, so when a learner is going to study through the virtual universities, definitely the particular learner has a great many skills. What are the skills? The first one is he or she is able to mastering software tools, then developing new study habits. The next one is knowing how to access online academic resources. Confidence to do well. Students who lack self-confidence often have poor learning skills and may develop considerable anxiety and fear of failure. So confidence is very important. So first I told you, when a student he or she is going to learn through the virtual universities, definitely he or she has a great many skills as a student. So he should have a thorough knowledge about the modern technologies because they are going to use such a technology. So mastering software tools. Then they should be self-disciplined because no one is no one is there to force him, so he should be self-disciplined, and that is why he should develop his own style in learning. That is very important. Then I told you he should have a clear knowledge about to use modern technologies, how to access online academic resources. All these things he should know very well. Then I tell you confidence is very important because the students who lack self-confidence, they should be poor learning skills and may develop considerable anxiety and fear of failure. So if the student is going to learn through the virtual university, he should be very confident. Students need to be highly motivated and be able to learn on their own without much direction. I told you he should motivate himself. No one is ready to motivate. Even we will get the guidelines from our learners in the case of virtual universities, but it is the responsibility of the learner. He should motivate himself. Okay. Need excellent time management skills to ensure that they get the work completed when it is due. Then the particular learner, he or she is need excellent in time management because he or she can manage the time effectively without any due. Okay, that is also the responsibility of the learner. Ability to ask for help. Services for students often include tutorials between student tutor and student, help desk, counseling and advising plus technical support. However, just providing these services does not guarantee success. The another important point, ability to ask for help. The learner has the ability to ask for help. He should be ready to ask the help for the student tutor, student, and they can also ask the help of counseling, advising plus technical support, all these things. But even all these teams are ready there in virtual universities, but how it is in practical, we can't make any assurance. So these are the skills that the student who is going to learn through virtual education. Okay, then the virtual universities questions remain about accreditation, assessment and reputation for quality. Actually all these points we discussed in general in the first topic, online education. So again there are so many questions relating accreditation, assessment and reputation for quality based on the virtual universities. Not all virtual universities are created equal. Okay, because definitely we can see the variations among these virtual universities in the case of accreditation, its standard, its quality, etc. Okay, accreditation by a governing body is needed to assure students that the online institute has certified online instructors who have the expertise and educational qualifications to design and carry out the curriculum. So definitely it is based on the expertise and educational qualifications to design and carry out the curriculum. As well, assessment needs to be closely monitored in any institution, but especially in virtual universities. Without assessment, there would be no measure to determine levels of current knowledge or whether the learning objective was accomplished. So, reputation for quality is important because employers will be more likely to hire a student who got their degree online from an accredited university with a good name than one no one has heard of. So it is the responsibility of a leader, of a learner to take part in accredited virtual universities. So you should make a study, deep study based on the accreditation, quality of teaching, assessment, etc. Through any sites, and you should make sure that it already accredited by the world. Okay. Then many traditional brick and mortar universities have established virtual branches, or at least providing virtual courses. Then we can see that actually we already met this point. Many traditional universities are also have their own branches. In the case of virtual universities, they are providing the virtual courses. The following is a list. It is not a complete list. Actually, it is a limited list of virtual universities. Which are the famous virtual universities? Canadian Virtual University, Intercultural Open University, Michigan Virtual University, Rasmussen College, Syrian Virtual University, Virtual University of Pakistan, Virtual Global University, American International University, Bangladesh. These are the limited list of virtual universities. So today we already discussed what it is virtual university. I think all of you understood it well. Actually we already discussed some major points relating virtual universities even in the first topic, online education. Okay, so once again we can go through the main points. At first you should understand what it is a virtual university, then what it's the goal. There are two goals: distance and flexibility, need for flexibility. Then in the third paragraph we spoke about the quality of virtual university. Then we speak about convenience. Then I told you it actually this course is prepared for the working class adult. Then we also spoke about how it is possible to do the higher education through virtual universities. We can see that there is no entry requirement for the undergraduate courses, but there are some requirements for the postgraduates and the people who work in specific jobs. Then about the structure, I told you we can see the differences between virtual university and also the traditional university. With a personal computer or smartphone and an internet connection, we can learn through virtual universities. Then method of studying. Then I told you it is highly depending on the learner himself or herself. He should collect the material, he should read the course material and work on course activities. He should write the assignments properly. At the same time he should have the chances to interact with his or her faculties and peers through teleconferences. Then they will get the chance to go through the printed materials, books, audio, video cassettes, TV programs, CD-ROM software, etc. Then we spoke about how they should work. Actually many of the virtual universities, they are keeping a timetable. In that timetable they already given the dates for exam, assignments, etc. According to that a learner should study and submit all the things properly. Then we also went through one of the famous virtual university, that it is Virtual Global University, in short VGU. Then we already discussed the courses in that university. Then we also understood the learner will get the chance to solve an exercise, then discuss the case study, then they will take test, etc. And even lectures also give them immediate feedback about their studies and presentation. After that we also understood a learner who is going to learn through virtual universities, definitely she or he has a great many skills that are mastering software tools, developing new study habits, knowing how to access online academic resources, confidence. Then students need to be highly motivated by themselves, need excellent time management skills. Then the last point, ability to ask for help. Then after that we also understood the main problems relating the accreditation of these virtual universities. So it is the duty of the learner to understand which are the accredited virtual universities in the world. According to that, they should take the admission from those virtual universities. Here they already given here a limited list of virtual universities. You just go through it. Then in India, very famous virtual university is IGNOU. Then we can see that IGNOU and some other state level open universities offer some of their courses and programs online. So I think all of you understood the virtual university well. Okay, then we can move to the next topic, that it is higher educational institution of repute. Then actually through this topic here they want to introduce the names of the top ranking higher educational institutions in the world. Okay, page number 311, underline that point. Through this title they want to introduce some top ranking higher educational institutions in the world. The following are the two prominent ranking systems for global universities. What are they? The first one is Academic Ranking of World Universities. Its full form is ARWU. It's compiled by Shanghai Jiao Tong University. ARWU is the world's first university ranking system 2003, and rankings have been updated annually. The second one is Times Higher Education and Quacquarelli Simmons World University Rankings. After the 2009 rankings, Times Higher Education took the decision to end their relationship with QS and instead signed an agreement with Thomson Reuters to provide the data for its annual World University Rankings. From November 2010, QS who have bought the exclusive rights to the domain name of World University Rankings will continue to produce them independently of Times Higher Education. So you please keep in memory these two global universities. One is Academic Ranking of World Universities, the next one Times Higher Education, and Quacquarelli Simmons. Then here we consider ARW ranking. ARW, I think all of you remembered well, Academic Ranking of World Universities. So the ranking compared how many education institutions? 1,200 higher education institutions worldwide, according to formula that took into account alumni winning Nobel Prizes and Fields Medals, staff winning Nobel Prizes and Fields Medals, highly cited researchers in 21 broad subject categories, articles published in Nature and Science, the Science Citation Index and Social Sciences Citation Index, and per capita academic performance. These are the criteria. According to that, they are giving the rank. Okay. Then the rankings have been conducted since 2003 and then updated annually. Actually, this ranking system started in 2003. Every year we can see that they are updating according to the criteria of ranking system. Here we can see that the following timetable lists the top 100 universities as per ARW. Based on 2013 ranking. Unfortunately, none of the higher education institution from India figures in the top 100 list. So you just go through this list. It happened in, don't forget, the year 2030. But unfortunately we can't see the any higher education institutions in this list based from India. Okay, so you just go through this list. After that we can also see another list of top 100 institutions of higher education in India as per the ranking assigned by CARIER's 360 university rating process are listed below. So you just go through that list also. So we can just identify which are the most important virtual universities in the world. Okay, then the last topic, research institution of repute. Actually in this title we can see that the list of world's top 100 research centers as per the ranking assigned by the ranking web of world research centers. So you just go through this list. Okay, so you will get the idea about which are the top 100 research centers. Then finally we can also see another list of top Indian research institutions include. We can see that there are 44 research centers they already given here through this list. So by this we are ending the 6th module. Okay, so we just go through the important topics once again. So there are 7 main topics in this 6th module. I repeatedly told you first 4 topics are very important. From that university is asking lot of questions. First topic is encyclopedia, so you should go through what it is encyclopedia, then how it originated from the word encyclopedia. Okay, then after that we spoke about characteristics of encyclopedias. Then we identified the differences between encyclopedia and a dictionary. Then we also talked about the objectives of encyclopedia. Okay, then we went through types of encyclopedias. You should study in detail the general encyclopedias, subject encyclopedias, encyclopedias on CD-ROM. You should study minimum 4 examples for each. Then after that we went through online encyclopedias. There are so many online encyclopedias. You should study each and every encyclopedias which the book described. At the same time you should give 2 examples for each. Okay, then second topic is libraries. So libraries, you can easily give a explanation about what it is library. Then types of libraries, we already identified there are 2 division. First division based on the categories by several methods. Then second one, traditional professional divisions. In the second one, traditional professional divisions, we already went through academic libraries, public libraries, research libraries, school libraries, special libraries. Okay, after that we talked about a shift from traditional to digital library. Then we already met traditional library, automated library, electronic library, digital library, hybrid library. Then we also identified what are the factors of change to digital libraries. Information explosion, searching problem in traditional libraries, low cost of technology, environmental factor, and the last one, new generation needs. Then it is very important what are the advantages and disadvantages of the digital library. Then about the advantages, we can see that there are so many points: no physical boundary, round the clock availability, multiple accesses, structured approach, information retrieval, preservation and conservation, space, networking, cost, added value. Then the disadvantages: copyright, speed of access, initial cost is high, bandwidth, efficiency, environment, preservation. After that, we also talked the popular digital libraries. We can see that first one is general digital libraries, then university sponsored digital libraries, international digital libraries, honorable mentions. You please study at least 2 examples for each. Then the third main topic is online bookstores. So definitely you can give an explanation for online bookstores. Then after that, we went through the advantages and disadvantages of a digital library. Advantages are convenience, more variety, used books, cheaper, feedback, e-books. Then the disadvantages: instant gratification, browsing, damaged books. After that, we also found the list of popular online bookstores in the world. Then we can see that they also given here the list of selected online bookstores in India. Okay, so at least you please keep in your mind at least 2 or 3 examples. Okay, then after that we went through the fourth main topic, that it is academic journals. It is also very important. You can write what it is academic journals. Then we can see that here a list of academic journals based on different subjects. Humanities, in the case of humanities, we also identified the archaeology, development studies, literature, music, philosophy and ethics. So you please give special importance to literature. Then list of social science journals: economics, education and educational technology, geography, history, law, political science, sociology. After that, we went through the fifth main topic, content repositories. Then you should have a clear idea about what it is content repositories. After that, we discussed the portals and gateways. There are many portals and gateways. First one, IIEP UNESCO Wiki of OER repositories, MERLOT, OER Commons, OpenCourseware Directory, OpenCourseware Finder, Resource Discovery Network. Then we also spoke about the institutional repositories. Then after that, we also went through general repositories, social sciences, humanities, standalone digital media resources, then community developed content. So there are many topics based on the fifth main topic, content repositories. So all of you should go through it in detail. Okay, then sixth main topic, it is web directories. So you should have a clear idea about what it is web directories and also its various features. Various features already given here in the page number 301. Okay, so go through it well. Then finally we reached at the seventh main topic, that it is online education. So we should have a clear idea about the popular online education formats. Then it is very important, repeatedly, I told you repeatedly, university is asking the same question as an essay. Write about the online education, its advantages and disadvantages. So you should go through all these things thoroughly. Okay, then after that we also discussed the top 10 online universities in the world. Then we also go through the universities that offer online education in India. Then we spoke about the merits and demerits of online education. Today we discussed what it is virtual university, its merits and demerits together we discussed in the topic virtual university. Okay, then at the same time we also understood if a learner is going to learn through the virtual universities, definitely he or she should have a great many skills. We also discussed those skills in detail. After that we met a limited list of virtual universities in the world. Then we also talked about the second topic, higher education institution of repute. Then we discussed about ARW and QS. Okay, then we already found the list of famous higher education institution from India in the top 100 list. After that we also go through the top 100 institution of higher education in India as per the ranking assigned by Careers 360 University. Then we also spoke about the research institutions of repute. In that we can see that there is a list of the world's top 100 research centers in the world. Then they also given here a list of top Indian research institutions. So I think all of you understood the 6th module well. So all of you please go through the textbook. You please go through all these topics and important points. So happy learning. We will meet in the next class with a new module. Okay, thank you.